Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. The Buffs are back, baby. Call a friend. That's right. So Colorado has been was off last week. Listen, the Colorado story is awesome. If you don't like Coach Prime and you don't like the Buffs at this point, that's a you problem. You got to take your head out of your you-know-what and just enjoy the moment, smell the roses. This is an unbelievable story. And again, we just talked about it with Indiana. We don't need to go through every step of the Colorado process, but they were the worst Power 5 team in America 2 years ago. They weren't very good last year after Coach Prime reshuffled that whole roster. Right now, coming out of the bye, not only is Colorado 6-2, not only are they bowl eligible, but as everybody has discussed, they got themselves a heck of an off week last week because not only were they off, not only were they resting, but how about this? Iowa State loses for the first time, ironically, to the Texas Tech team that they're playing. Iowa State is now tied with Colorado with one loss in second place in the league standings. And oh, by the way, how about Kansas State taking a second loss, which means that now they are behind Colorado and Iowa State in the standings. And so ironically for Colorado, this might be the toughest game left on their schedule, which sounds crazy because how about this? Their Final Four at Texas Tech, and then 3 teams that were in the top 25 to start the season. Well, it's safe to say they ain't there no more because as of right now, this is who Colorado has after Texas Tech. Texas Tech 6-3, by the way, and did just get bowl eligible last week. After this week, Colorado has Utah at home, 4-4, 1-4 in the Big 12. Then they go to Kansas, 2-6, 1-4 in the Big 12. They close with Oklahoma State, 3-6, 0-6 in the Big 12. And so I bring it up, their Final Four, the Final 3, I should say, after Texas Tech, 3 teams that are a combined 2-14 in the Big 12. If Colorado can get through this game, they are in great position to compete for a Big 12 championship. I don't know exactly what the tiebreakers would be if them and Iowa State both finished with 1 loss, but it's interesting. It's worth noting. And listen, Colorado's a really good, really complete football team. I think early on, it would be easy to just look at Shedeur, look at Travis Hunter, look at LeJontay Wester, look at whoever, and just sit there and say, well, they throw the ball around, but, how good are they really? It's like, no, they're pretty good in all levels. The rushing stats are a little bit skewed because they've had a couple bad games, but against Cincinnati, they had over 100 yards rushing, and there's pretty much a direct parallel. If they hit that 100-yard rush mark, they're going to win. They had 100. They had 100 plus against Cincinnati last week. Again, 2 weeks ago, about 150 yards rushing. So they're running the ball, and I just don't think they're getting nearly enough credit for how improved they are on defense. We had D-line coach Damian Lewis on the Aaron Torres pod a few weeks ago, Robert Livingston coming from the NFL. They're one of the most improved defenses in all of college football, okay? Last year, 130th nationally in total defense, down to 64th this year, gave up 453 yards per game. They're down to 364 yards per game, so about 100 yard per game fewer improvement. And just look at the recent games. Take out the Kansas State game where there was no Travis Hunter. 23 points to Cincinnati, 7 points to Arizona, 21 to UCF, on and on. This defense has been very good. In terms of Texas Tech, Texas Tech, by the way, as I said, did get bowl eligible, did beat the Iowa State team that is now tied with Colorado in the league standings. And credit where it's due. 6-3, Joey McGuire, like Colorado, like Coach Prime, he is in his second year with Texas Tech. This program is very clearly improved, and they're themselves in the thick of the Big 12 title race if they were to win this game. If you're looking at Texas Tech, if you're not familiar with them, first of all, that is a very, very, very tough place to play in Lubbock. It gets windy. It gets weird stuff happens, and the place is going to be rocking. Tickets are going for the cheapest get-in ticket for Saturday afternoon, Jones AT&T Stadium in Lubbock is over $200 for that game. So it's going to be wild. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. But then on top of that, in terms of what Texas Tech does pretty well, they do throw the ball very well, top 25 pass offense in America. Quarterback has been pretty effective over these last couple games. Is worth noting, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions a week ago. Where I would be concerned with a Texas Tech, if I was a Texas Tech fan, they have one of the worst pass defenses in America. Okay. And listen, let me just, I won't beat around the bush. Let me get to my pick for this game. I actually do like Colorado as a 3.5 point road favorite. I might have said 2.5 earlier. If I did, I apologize. I like Colorado because the blueprint to beat Colorado is pretty obvious. The only game Colorado has lost about the last 6, 7, 8 weeks is because they ran up against one of the best run defenses that they have seen all season long, one of the best run defenses in college football in Kansas State. So Kansas State completely eliminated the run. At that point, Shedeur needed to pass the football. He was down Jimmy Horn. He was down Travis Hunter. Next thing you know, they're struggling to move the ball. And by the way, even in that game, they had a lead in the fourth quarter, so I can't even say they were struggling that much. Well, when you look at Texas Tech, what did I just say? 131st nationally in pass defense, okay? So that ain't going to get the job done against Colorado. 133rd, excuse me. Only Tulsa is worse. And so Texas Tech, worst pass rush, the worst pass defense in the Power 5, and they don't get to the quarterback, 87th nationally in tackles for loss. And if you're going to give Shedeur time to cook in that pocket, he's going to freaking cook you. And so to me, that's all that it really comes down to in this game. That pass defense has been bad. And I think kind of as importantly, that the defense in general has given up a lot of points when you have been able to pass the football. I mean, go back to week 1. They're playing Abilene Christian. They give up 51 points. A few weeks after that, 37 to Washington State, 41 at home to Cincinnati, and that was in a win. 59 to Baylor, 35 in a loss to TCU. And so this is a defense that gives up a lot of yards and a lot of points, and that is not the thing that you want to do against Colorado. And the other thing I would say about Texas Tech, and I don't mean to diminish who they are or the season that they're having, a lot of really, really, really close wins. They had a 1-point win over Abilene Christian, as I said, a 1-point win over Iowa State. So that's 2 1-point wins. Plus, on top of that, a 3-point win against Cincinnati and a 6-point win over a bad Arizona team, an Arizona team that Colorado just crushed 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago before their bye. And so I bring it up because I think Colorado's the better team. I think the matchups favor them. Now, it is worth noting, as I said, Lubbock is a very tough place to play. But I think there is one other thing that's worth noting as well, and that's that Colorado has been a darling when it comes to the betting odds and all that stuff. Said it last week with Florida, Georgia, before DJ Lagway got hurt. I said, look, if you actually go and look at the two teams that Vegas just seems to routinely be missing on, it's Colorado and it's Florida. Now, Florida we're staying away from. We'll get to that game in a minute. But I just bring it up because if you actually look at Colorado, you know that Colorado, from a betting perspective, is not only 6-2 against the spread, they've covered the spread in the last 6 games that they've played, okay? And how about this? In 5 of the 6, well, not all of them, they've covered in the last 6, and they've been underdogs outright in several of them. And so they're covering with ease for the most part, and I think they're the right side in this game because, again, Texas Tech struggles to stop the pass. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't really think Vegas knows what to do with Colorado. So many transfers, so many new names. They can't quite figure it out. And it's like, you just got to acknowledge they nailed so many of their transfers. LeJontay Wester at wide receiver, so many guys on the D-line, BJ Green, Sam Okunlola, Dalen, whoever it is. Point I'm trying to make, I like Colorado to win. I like them to win comfortably. I'll say something like 34-24 because, again, I think that defense is better than people give it credit for as well. Give me a Colorado win, a Colorado cover.